He is the pride of Omaha, Nebraska, who first got a big break in the movie Election way back in the day. Played Harvey Dent in Gotham for 3 seasons. Also was on Heroes, and now is in season 2 playing the role of John Siegel in Trial and Error on NBC versus John Lithgow in season 1, and now Christian Chenoweth in season 2. Good to see you, Nicholas D. Augusto.
Thank you.
How
Man,
are you, sir?
all of that made me feel like, where did the time go?
And I didn't even hit all your credits.
Yeah, no. Well, there's not a whole lot. I mean, some of them shouldn't be hit.
Well, I mean, for a show like this one as well, going to Marquette at the same time as Dwayne Wade is up there as well.
Yeah.
That is a
my
fact,
first year
correct?
when I moved out. Yeah. Well, my first year when I moved out to LA, 2002 to 2003, he took Marquette to the Final Four that year.
Yes.
And I was watching it down. I didn't know where to go. I happened to be like, I was going to go to Santa Monica and go along the boardwalk, like the 3rd Street or 4th Street Promenade down there. And I stepped into a bar down there and watched the Final Four game, which, if you remember, not a successful game. But the game before that was very successful.
Well, I mean, you can also, with so many New York transplants here in this town, you could throw a stone and hit a Syracuse grad. So,
yeah, that's right.
I mean, was it Marquette versus Syracuse?
No, Marquette lost to Kansas.
Lost to Kansas, but I think they beat Kentucky actually in the 8 that year.
Elite Eight.
I think that was the big thing, was like the blue blood win over Kentucky was huge.
And now, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he's amazing. And I've had the fortune of meeting him at some party where we were,
in
repping
college?
a show. No, gosh, no. Come on, I wasn't that
Played quarter bounce with
that
Dwayne
cool. No way. And I was older than him. No, he was just a very sweet man. I met him out at some Hollywood thing, and I accosted him and was like, "I'm a fan."
Yes.
And I was just totally a dork about it. And he was very nice, and he's used to that sort of thing. And he was great. And because of that, I became a kind of LeBron fan because, as you know, being from Omaha, Nebraska, there's no professional sports team. So it took me a while to kind of find my way to like what would be an NBA team I liked.
But you're mandated to be a Cornhusker, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Branded.
Correct?
Yeah.
You're branded at birth.
They brand all children like they brand their cattle.
So you've got...
I'm not going to show you that either.
I'm glad that you're sitting down.
Right.
Scott Frost was on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I watched that,
And he is ready to return
man.
the prominence that Tom Osborne obviously brought to Nebraska. So you must be fired up about that.
Yeah, I think it's like, I'm really fired up about it. I was actually getting a chance to talk to Bruce in the green room area before because I had the opportunity to sort of just pick his brain a little bit about it. And
what did Bruce Feldman have to say?
He interviewed him for the Sports Illustrated article. That was a big, extensive article on Scott Frost's return to Nebraska and all this stuff. And I don't know Scott Frost at all, but he is such an intelligent man to listen to, and clearly so, and such a revered son for anyone, which is like 79% of the people in Nebraska love Nebraska football. Right. And so, and the other 21% just travel too much, I guess. I don't know. But he's such a wonderful man to listen to. He's kind of marks all these boxes that you want your coach to be at that level, which is someone that's an upstanding citizen, a family man, and just a true competitor who's clearly very intelligent at what he does.
And knows the program.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
look,
right.
a few years ago.
a national championship winner. I was 17 when I saw him win.
Hold on a second. Wait,
that's right. You're a Michigan fan. I was going to talk about this. You asked Scott this, and Scott had the wonderful He dodged the bullet.
Well,
He did
hold on a
really
minute.
well.
Hold on. As Tom Osborne would say, he took a knee. He took a knee on that. Okay.
That's fair.
Took a knee. As Osborne
what do you
always
think?
liked to do.
He did give you a little
Victory
indication though, which was
formation.
it was this veiled jab, which was, I'm pretty sure any fan base of a team that was that successful and that strong would believe that their team would have beat the other team. It was something like that.
Right.
And I was like, that's a very classy move.
Yes.
Shows the class that this man's going to bring to the program.
Yes.
Also that he respects your program.
Yes.
And I respect this challenge.
That's one way to view that conversation.
Okay, how could it also be viewed?
May I give you the other point?
Absolutely.
The other way is, well, Tom Osborne was retiring.
This is great.
And the members of the media wanted to give him the mother of all gold watches,
Wow.
which is half of Michigan's championship.
Wow.
And the reason why we even had a half of a championship is because the touchdown pass, in quotes, that I threw against Missouri that got kicked up in the air purposefully against the rules.
That's true and was admitted to later.
That landed there. Was it Matt Davison who
Absolutely.
caught that ball?
Yeah.
Who's now part of the organization there in Nebraska that
Scott
has
Frost.
brought Scott Frost back.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we got half a championship. That's what I was reading into what he was saying at the time, Nicholas.
All right, now I think that's entirely fair, but I'm not sure it's
Okay.
the way to read the entire conversation.
Okay.
But I will say
Yes.
that Nebraska shared a national championship with Penn State. No, was it Penn State? Yeah, it was Penn State.
Yes.
And Penn State had a controversial call where the receiver later admitted to being out of bounds when he caught that.
Yes.
That kept them alive in that game. So I will say that we all
Yes.
know how college football works.
Yes.
And I can't go through all of Michigan's plays from that season.
Yes.
And I don't remember how close they were to what the average win
They were not
difference
very
was.
close. They were not very close.
This is also
So
I recognize that.
Yes.
But
yes.
the thing that is undeniable
Yes.
is that we had two strong, undefeated teams
Yes.
from top-tier programs.
Yes.
And Nebraska had a massive win against a very strong Peyton Manning Tennessee team that
True.
year.
Yes.
And it was very difficult to say that Nebraska is not an excellent program or not an excellent team that season.
And I will say, continuing this high-pitched cadence that we are going back and forth to maintain civility.
I respect that meta observation.
I will say that Michigan did have the actual Heisman Trophy winner over Peyton Manning that year in Charles Woodson.
Right.
And with respect to you, as a guest on this show,
Yeah.
first of what I hope is many appearances, Nicholas D'Augusto.
I would love to come back. I'll come back tomorrow.
I will say, I don't care what happened between Nebraska and Penn State at all.
Yeah, no, I respect this. But look, I get it. I get it.
Can we just respect each other, I guess, and
I
take
do.
a knee?
I love the passion, and how can I say that you don't have a right to ask for that? But all I know is that was a very fine team, and as a
Yes.
Nebraska fan, I was all too happy to see us be a part of the national
And
championship
I
that
think
year.
the ultimate trump of this whole thing is that you are a fresh-faced star of NBC's Trial and Error, and I am a man pushing 50 in a Mexican jersey with a Mexican flag on my face like I'm 3.
Listen, I could have very easily come here
Yes.
with. I actually thought about bringing some of my Cornhusker gear. I have
And
you know
I'm
how you can go to we were at, I think it was Coney Island with my
Okay.
wife, and there were stuffed corn cobs with faces on them that
Okay.
you could win, like
Yes.
if you tossed a ring.
Yes.
And I spent so much money
Yeah.
tossing the rings and never winning
Yes.
the corn cob that the young person actually gave it to me.
Out of pity?
Yeah. And yeah,
People
pity.
in Brooklyn don't take pity on too many people, man.
No, it just goes to show you, I was just clearly showing such sad emotion, and
Yeah.
had recognized that $40 is way too much to pay for this corn cob. But he is my corn cob. He's Robert Bob, the corn cob.
Oh my God.
And I dress him in Nebraska gear. And I almost brought him today, but I didn't. This is my first time.
Well,
Feels
look,
like that's a strong
exactly.
thing to walk in
You've already
with.
shared too much with the story
Fair?
already.
Fair.
You don't need to bring the visual evidence, but
Yeah, maybe next time.
maybe next time. Trial and Error Season 2, funny program in which you are playing a fish out of water lawyer this season in
Yes.
South Carolina, correct?
Yeah, the fictional
Right.
town in South Carolina called East
okay.
Peck.
Okay.
Kind of like Pawnee, Indiana, if you're a Parks and Rec fan.
And you have Christian Chenoweth as your client.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty messy. And
Yeah.
you had John Lithgow last season in seasons 1 and 2. Congratulations on this,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Must be
It's-
enjoying the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, it's honestly for me, it's a dream come true. I've been doing it a long time. I've done a lot of pilots that never made it, and I got into this one at the this one after having done it for 15 years and not having had a show where I was able to put, Gotham, I was able to come back kind of multiple seasons, but I'm not there very often on that show. They're
Sure.
a very big cast there, and they're lovely, but I just haven't had a lot of access in that show. And to have a show that come back a second season has been rare for me. And so to get to do this season is such a joy. And it's one of those things where everything fell into place. Not only is it a character that they write to so well for me, where I get to do kind of everything in the show. I get to do comedy, but I also am the one that keeps the dramatic narrative locked down. I'm the straight man. I get to ham it to the camera a lot. I get to do a lot. And it's a real joy. And then on top of it, this really strange and peculiar mechanic in our show where if we get to keep going on, but even 2 years is enough, where I have the opportunity to get to work with a pedigree of actor that is just kind of wild. It's this attractive role for someone in their position because they're very, they can work often and they get to do a lot of things and get them to make their own choices. And so someone like John Lithgow can come in and do a season and have a lot of fun and then leave. He doesn't have to sign a 6 or 7 year contract. And Kristen can do the same thing. And so if we're lucky enough to have a 3rd season or a 4th, then I can add 2 more stars, legends to this list of people that I've had the joy of getting to work with so closely. And I learned so much from them, and they've both been just, I can't, what I say about them cannot be positive enough to tell you the truth. They're both so lovely.
I couldn't be more happy for you.
Thank you.
It was fun having you on here. Please come back anytime you want. And it's just as well that you weren't around Gotham very much because I'm married to a Patriot fan, and Brockman I work with one every day. You can't be around Chickless longer than 5 minutes.
I met him, and within 5 minutes and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and so instantly I was like, come on, as if I haven't had to live with this long enough, Chickless.
You know what I'm saying?
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
From Omaha.
You need to change teams.
No, you can't. Come on. When they finally win, do you know how great it's going to be for me?
Yes.
Let me tell you what's not going to happen.
Oh, come on now. We've been civil. Didn't you see the 2 of us have been civil?
I know. I just kind of wanted it on.
I didn't understand how we were
supposed
supposed to talk about this.
That's right.
Sorry.
Keep going high.
That's right.
Whatever.
Buffalo Bills will win someday.
Careful. That's too high.
I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Good to see you, sir.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
At Nicholas D'Augusto on Twitter. Check out Trial and Error, premiering Thursday, July 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be season 2 with Nicholas and Kristen Chenoweth and a whole cast that is worthy of you checking it out. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Back in 60 seconds. It's still 0-0. Harry Kane's hair is getting a little mussed up. Where's that pomade when you need it?
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.